Being alone is rarely the real issue. What truly wounds is feeling lonely, even in your own company. Genuine loneliness isn't the absence of others, it's the absence of your own presence. Carl Jung experienced this during his periods of inner exile. Amid life's chaos, the only constant companion he had was his own mind. And in that stillness he discovered the truth. Loneliness is not a sentence, it is a mirror dot. So why do so many crumble inwardly the moment they are alone? Why does silence summon the darkest thoughts, the coldest emptiness, the heaviest anxieties? Perhaps it is not solitude that hurts, but the disconnection from the essence of one's own life. It has never been about having someone beside you. It has always been about being whole. You could be surrounded by faces, receiving endless messages, filling your days with plans, yet still feel hollow. Or you could spend a week without speaking to anyone and feel perfectly at peace. The real problem isn't solitude itself. It's the inner noise we carry when we don't know how to inhabit it. Jung observed that the soul withdraws not to abandon the world, but to return with clarity. And you, where do you go when everything falls silent? Most flee that moment. They turn on music, scroll endlessly, call someone anything to avoid simply being with themselves. They fear themselves because they have never truly met themselves. They cannot exist without constant stimulation. Here lies the trap. The more you run from silence, the more enslaved you become to what is outside you. Seek approval, attention, forced company, all to escape the very emotions you should be quietly observing. Jung never longed to flee from the world. He sought to enter it with composure, not reactivity. And composure is born only in silence, in the discipline of sitting with yourself without screens, masks, or pretexts. Yet no one teaches us this. We are conditioned to perform, distract ourselves, to appear always accessible. We are told that being alone is sadness, that we need someone else, that without another we are incomplete. So we beg for attention instead of cultivating presence. To learn to be alone is not to isolate yourself. It is to encounter yourself. It is to discover within a place of safety a space that does not collapse when others leave. A ground that does not rely on applause, messages, or promises. Because when you know how to be alone, you stop begging for company. You no longer settle for empty relationships. You no longer cling to those who give you nothing. You no longer avoid silence out of fear. You simply learn to be present with yourself. If you want, I can also make a shorter, punchier version suitable for social media or a motivational caption while keeping the philosophical depth. When you truly sit with yourself, you begin to notice what has been buried under noise and distraction. The subtle thoughts you ignored, the feelings you avoided, the dreams you abandoned. Silence becomes a teacher, not a punishment. It shows you where you are fragmented, where your mind races, and where your heart has been longing for attention. In this space, you confront the truth of your own existence. You see the patterns of seeking validation, of comparing yourself to others, of fearing judgment. And slowly, without anyone else's interference, you learn to hold these truths gently, without shame. You begin to understand that your value is intrinsic, not borrowed from likes, messages, or the presence of others. Being alone, in its deepest sense, is not about withdrawing from life. It is about learning to inhabit your own life fully. It is about listening to the quiet voice that has always been there, beneath the chatter, beneath the anxieties, beneath the habit of running. That voice tells you who you are, what you need, and what you deserve, not what the world demands. Jung called this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness. It is not quick or comfortable. At first you may feel restless, even anxious. Old fears and insecurities rise to the surface. But these are not enemies, they are guides. Each uncomfortable moment, each pang of loneliness, is a signal that you are meeting yourself honestly. And with each encounter, you become less dependent on the world for reassurance. The beauty of this practice is subtle but transformative. You discover a core of calm within yourself, a still point that cannot be shaken by absence or rejection. You learn to move through life with composure, responding to situations with clarity rather than reaction. You stop clinging to empty interactions and begin to attract relationships and experiences that resonate with your true self. This is the paradox. To connect fully with others, you must first connect with yourself. To be present in the world, you must first be present in your own mind and heart. Loneliness then ceases to be a threat. It becomes a companion, a mirror reflecting your strength, your depth, and your capacity for joy. And one day, you realize you have never truly been alone. You have only been waiting to meet yourself.